Hello lovely people, how are you? Gosh, it's November already. How did that happen? This has been the weirdest autumn ever, and I think it's caught a lot of us on the hop, so excuse me. I think because it's been so warm and sunny for so long, it just hasn't felt like this time of year, and so I think there's a lot of us who are feeling a bit behind with our jobs, what have you. Doesn't matter, we'll get there. But literally within the last couple of days, the temperature's changed quite massively, as I was saying in my last video when I was out playing with my brassicas, and as you'll see in a minute, it looks like last night we had our first frost because something has copped it, but I'll show you when we get into the garden. So, what to expect from November? You know, I kind of like as we sort of slip into November, December, because, you know, on the one hand, the garden is so much quieter and the beds are emptier, what have you. But it's a lovely time to really make a conscious effort to just go slower. All of the jobs now, there's no desperate hurry to get any of them done. The sowings that needed to be done are sown, so the garlic, broad beans, folk have been getting that, excuse me, onions in. Oh, sorry, a bit of a tickle. So none of the jobs are desperately urgent. It's the perfect time of year to make the changes you've been thinking about all spring, summer and autumn. As you've found things throughout the year a bit awkward, it would be easier if, what have you. So we've got these lovely months stretching ahead of us now, November, December, January, February, even into March, where we can begin to make those changes we want to make. We can go slower. We can do bits of maintenance and bits of building, and I think just generally relish being in the garden purely for the sake of it. Not because, oh, there's weeding to do, there's watering to do, there's sowing to do, there's transplanting to do, there's thinning to do, there's harvesting to do, or, you know, all year it's been a manic to-do list of I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do the other. And now, let's take the word need out of the sentence. There's nothing I need to do. So, I'm hoping to really enjoy the next few weeks in the garden, simply because I'm really not doing much and doing it very slowly. But enough of that. Let's go and see how the garden's looking at the beginning of November, where I'm up to, and what my plans are for the rest of the month. It's just gone 3 in the afternoon and already we're losing the light. Oh. So the cosmos, I gave them a really good deadheading the other day, but I think the cold is getting to them, so I'm not going to deadhead anymore. I'm just going to leave that little lot now for seed heads. Do you remember I popped a load of stuff down here? I've got some poached egg plants from my neighbour Catherine. I've got some calendula. I've got some, and there's one coming up. Which one's that, I wonder? There's some tulips and hyacinths and all sorts. But yes, a little cheery splash of green down there. How lovely. But yes, the flowers are pretty much well and truly over. What was lovely coming down here today was to see my cabbages out of their nets. You will have seen them come out of the nets the other day, but it's always so nice to arrive and be greeted by such gorgeous greenery. I've obviously had that calabrese broccoli away the other day, and very yummy it was too. I don't think it's going to be long now before I start having some cabbages away. gorgeous, yes. That one is saying, eat me, eat me. The carrots are doing fine. I'm having those out intermittently. Will you be able to make that out there? Can you just about make out? They're trying to jump out of the ground. And the leeks, well, they're looking a bit rubbish. Now, I was chatting with a couple of other plot holders down here the other day, and it seems everyone's having a rubbish year for the leeks. And I'm even beginning to wonder whether I should bother doing them at all anymore. With this whole allium leaf miner, that's an okay one. Allium leaf miner, rust. Really, is it worth it? I'm not sure. So I think what I'm going to do today... Hello, little carrot, you're asking to be taken out, aren't you? Yeah, so one of the plans in the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to have the lot out. Either make up loads of batches of soup or just have them out and get them frozen. And then I'm probably going to take this net off here because I need it for the broad beans. And just thinking about the life cycle of the carrot fly, there should not be any more layings now until next, I think, March or April, by which time I'll have had them out. So, yeah, it's always worth knowing about the life cycle of your pests. So, for instance, me taking the nets off because the butterflies are finished, and hopefully I'll get this lot out of their nets because the carrot flies will have finished laying, hopefully. And there are those little spare cabbages in there too that are looking gorgeous. Oh, but these Cavallo Nero, just such a gorgeous vegetable. They seem to want to grow and to love to grow. Isn't that a fantastic sight? These crazy pimply leaves. Oh, I love them. I could quite happily eat this stuff every single day of the week. The sprouts are very tiny, but they're growing, as you saw in the brassica video I did the other day. What I didn't show you, and I will in a sec, is a random one I plonked, which is developing more quickly, more strongly than these. I'll show you that in a sec. Then, if you remember, I also had out my flint corn, and under there is all the sort of leafy detritus covered in cardboard, and then this is all the stalks I've just piled up for now because we'll use that for one of our bonfires. We're going to have an armistice fire. The celery is still coming for me. Actually, it looks beautiful and bright at the moment, doesn't it? I think that's the other thing I like about this time of year, is that any little bits of growth and greenery, they seem almost extra special. You know, when you compare with the summer when everything is green and abundant, I think it's easy to overlook things. So that now, when there is less around, suddenly an individual plant seems so much more beautiful and lush. Oh, love it. Now, the X vine bed. Empty, empty, empty. Actually, let me come to the other end because the sun is trying to shine. I've literally just finally got these two X tomato beds sorted for winter. You remember I dumped a load of compost on here. Oh, that looks like it needs some more bricks. Well, actually, in the end, I dragged that compost off and I did give the ground a bit of a tickle because I have ever so slightly moved where the paths are. I'll explain that a bit more in a minute when we go to the next bed. So they've had a bit of a tickle and loads of sort of half composted stuff from lying around all over the garden underneath that. I didn't use the leaves because I want the leaves for the next bed. So I've literally used whatever I can lay my hands on that's lying around the garden. And it looks like I'm going to start some hugel culture, doesn't it? They'll store there for the winter. So yes, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 of my new permanent beds. Yay! And you'll see they correspond with 1, 2, 3, 4 beds over here. There's the 5th. And the 5th one for this bed number 2. The 5th perma bed is the one that's been sown with the broad beans. These nets have been mashed a million times already, so, oh, poor little broad beans. That's why I want to steal that netting and hoop system to get onto here, because it will be a bit stronger and hopefully put the foxes off, because what I don't want is little teeny broad beans trying to come up and the foxes just mashing the lot. So at the very end of summer, I took out I had saved some broad beans in this little corner for seed saving, and in the gap I just plonked, I didn't even know what I was putting in, just 3 random brassica seedlings with no protection, just as an experiment to see how they do against butterflies, pigeons, what have you. Well, you can see that cabbage is doing perfectly well, but what's really exciting and great is the Brussels sprouts are doing really well. So look at that, that's gone in at about the same time as the other ones, but with no protection, and it's much further along. So maybe there will be sprouts for Christmas, who knows. Hopefully. Right, this is the big job for this next month. You can see I've cleared it even more, and I've now put in my markers for where the paths are going to be. And for example here, my shadow is going to be annoying. This was one of the beds that had, oh, I can't remember now, spinach. And when I was making the beds, I top dressed them with a bit of compost. Now, because this in the middle, actually, let me step back this way, see if I can do it without falling over. That's a better shot, isn't it? Because this is now going to be a path, I don't want to leave that good compost there. So I'm just starting to scrape things up to the side. And you'll see where that path is now and that path is now. They're both coming out, because they will now be in the middle of my new permanent beds. So yeah, it's quite a bit of work that's needed in this bed, because none of the paths are in the right places. As you can see, I'm trying to rescue as much of that top dressing of compost. There's another pile of it there that I've just scraped from there. Likewise, another pile here that I've scraped from there. Rescue as much of that as possible. And then also in doing this, I'm having to, if we go along here, it cuts right through the middle of what was the beetroot bed this year. So I'm harvesting from the middle at the moment. Actually, what was really lovely is a little while ago I saw one of my neighbours, and I know she loves beetroot, so I was really, really happy to have a few more out and give them to her, because I know she'll love them. So that's almost ready for a new path to be made. Likewise with the chard, you can see this is now online. Let me show you. Oh, I'm gonna go flying. So the new path is going to be here. So it's going to be just to the left of where that path was. So all that chard has been harvested now, and the rest hopefully can stay. I won't disturb it as I dig out and reorganise the rest of this bed. So yeah, it's definitely a bit of a task for this winter, but you know, I'm not in any hurry. I reckon I should easily have that done over the course of November. Once the old paths have been dug out and new beds laid out, I've then got a load more of that leaf litter left, so I'll give it the same sort of treatment as I've done over there. Just pile the beds up with whatever I can find, get them covered, and just let nature do its magic over the winter. Yay! And then coming around to this bed. Oh, look at the size of my purple sprouting broccoli already. It's already about 3 feet high. Oh, I love it. This is one of life's treats, isn't it? Purple sprouting. It's one of those things, I love it, around about sort of the end of February, beginning of March, when a lot of the other cabbages and brassicas have come out and they've been had. And then you get this gorgeous late burst from the purple sprouting. Absolutely fabulous. That's where the garlic went in. Some of them are starting to poke up, which you Can you see through the netting? I don't think you're going to be able to see, are you? Once they're a bit more up and established, I will take the nets off and let them get some air and light. And this is another bed which I need to do my perma bed sorting on. So I think you can notice that I'm starting to mark out with the sticks. They're not too far off where the paths were this year, so here will have to be dug out, and then that'll be the edge of the new bed. And again, once I've done all that, just find whatever material I can to get these beds covered in and rotting down, hopefully over the winter. Just next to them, you can hopefully see I've hacked back one of the rows of calendula really quite massively. Now, I haven't actually taken them out. The plants are still in there because pulling them out, what I don't want to do is disturb all the parsnips which are just along this side of them. And you'll know I had a nightmare trying to get parsnips this year. This was a, do you know, I think this was a 4th sowing in the end, with some rescue seeds sent by Paul and Richard. Thank you so much, guys. So yeah, they're really, really precious. So I've just chopped all this calendula back to give the parsnips a bit more light and a bit more space. I've left the front row in because there's no parsnips there. Oh, actually, there's one. Size of it's pathetic. And I was going to say, excuse me, there's none in the front either, but there is one. Oh, big whoop-de-doo. What a rubbish year for parsnips. And oh my goodness, so many things had 3, 4, 5 sowings. The English lavender's had a big old trim now, so that'll just sit and hunker down for winter. I haven't yet harvested the French lavender, but you know, this site is just pleasing me day after day after day. There's the feverfew, the tansy, some calendula. It's just such a beautiful splash of brightness. I'm so happy to have got this herb bed started this year. And of course next year, this is another winter project, get the path in, and then next year I can start to fill in all of this and this area here. So yeah, lovely to just have that bit of colour. And actually that's another reason that I haven't taken out the last of the calendula yet, because, you know, they're the stragglers, but they're still a bit of colour, aren't they? So lovely. Now, the frost. Yes, it is finally done for the achocha. Look at that. Droopy achocha. Poor thing. But what this means now is, that's obviously been done for. I'm going to get the whole lot down, chopped up, and it will be great to put on top of one of these beds that I'll get covered for the winter. So, although it's really sad that it's bitten the dust, as it were, and I've got to say goodbye to it, it's going to be a great bit of compost. Woohoo! And then, you might have seen the other day, I'm so excited about this. This is my new Taunton Dean perennial kale. Yay, thank you so much, Jimmy. I'm beside myself excited about that. And yeah, just hoping it's going to be happy there and will grow away, and then before we know it, it'll be to the top of the post. I don't know, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Hopefully it will do something for me. But there we go. That, my friends, is how the garden is looking at the beginning of November. There's still some work to do, but not a huge amount. And it's the kind of stuff to just enjoy, isn't it? There's no hurry, no rush. Take my time, just make the most of it for what it is. And that is my lovely little outside space where I get to spend time on my own, time with other people, time being really, really super active, other times just resting. Oh, I love it. And just before I go, on the subject of resting, I have been feeling a little bit off lately, so after I put this video up, I'm going to actually have a couple of days off. So if you don't hear from me for a couple of days, don't worry about me, I'm fine. I just need a little bit of time off, so I'm going to take it. And on that note, I shall say to you all for now, a very happy cheerio. I hope your gardens are still giving you masses and masses of enjoyment. Even if they're under snow, they're still beautiful places, aren't they? I will see you all again. Oh, I'm not sure when, but I'll see you all again at some point. So in the meantime, take care.